So one of the common things that I see and have been talking about a lot, and we're going to go a little deeper now, is called histamine intolerance. Histamine intolerance is when you can't break down histamines in your food efficiently. They start to build up. And this is different from, which we'll go to in a different video, MCAS, and other more serious things like mastocytosis, right? So let's just talk about histamine intolerance. Histamine intolerance, you may have had your genes done, and you may know that you have a gene SNP or mutation in what's called the histamine deamine oxidase enzyme. So histamine DAO, okay, is an enzyme. It's a genetic coding for producing that enzyme that breaks down histamine. So if you notice that you go on a low inflammation diet and then you eat high histamine foods and you react, high histamine foods being things like bone broth, cured meats, some fish, cheese, yeast, and then there's things that liberates yeast like citrus and chocolate and bananas and pineapple, some of those things. And then, bone broth, I don't know if I said bone broth, really high in histamine, because the longer it cooks, the higher the histamine production, which is just a protein, happens. And so when those things get eaten, the body flares. That's a histamine intolerance. That's probably the easiest of all of them to clear. And it responds by changing your diet. So if you have noticed that you decrease your histamine consumption and that gets better, that's what that is. But really the issue is that your little mast cells, the way it works is you have these little mast cells and they do something called degranulation, and that's where they get a certain signal, and if they're functioning well, it takes a certain threshold for that signal before they start to release their stored histamines. What happens though is with inflammatory bodies that are inflamed all the time because of gut imbalances and toxin load and food bombs and blood sugar issues and hormone imbalances, etc., is that those histamine holding cells, those mast cells, start to become too sensitive and they start releasing histamine too fast. Then you compound that with the inability to break down external histamines, and now you've got a histamine intolerance syndrome. So just know it's not normal. You can totally fix it. You're going to manage it. It's kind of like once your body gets a certain pathway, it tends to stay there, but you can manage it well to where maybe you can keep it from ever flaring. So I hope that's helpful. All right. Talk to you later.